It is happening quietly, but it is significant. Nigerian troops have intercepted 2 pickup vans loaded with items suspected to be logistic supplies meant for ISWAP, right inside the troubled corridors of the Northeast. This is not a battlefield clash. These are not airstrikes. This is something deeper, the supply line that keeps terror alive. Now, let us slow this down and look at what just happened. According to intelligence sources, troops of Sector 2 of the Nigerian Army, working alongside the Civilian Joint Task Force, stopped 2 pickup vans moving from Dapchi through the Magomeri axis. Acting on credible human intelligence, the soldiers intercepted the vehicles and took the drivers into custody. What they found inside the vans immediately raised red flags. Before we go further, if you are watching this breakdown, please like this video and subscribe. It helps this channel continue balanced analysis like this. Inside those vehicles were items that on the surface may look ordinary. Spare tires, rims, bicycles, flour, charcoal, yams, clothes for adults and children, blankets, gari, phones, a power bank, even a mattress, and cash, about 92,000 naira. But in a war against insurgency, nothing is ordinary. This was not just foodstuff. This was not just household items. This was a moving lifeline. 31 spare tires, 23 rims, 12 key starters, alternators, bicycles. These are mobility tools. These are items that allow armed groups to move quickly, repair vehicles, escape military pressure, and stay operational in the bush. From this point, we need to understand something very clearly. Terror groups like ISWAP do not survive on ideology alone. They survive on logistics. They survive on networks of people who move food, fuel, clothing, spare parts, communication tools, and cash. Without these supply chains, guns become useless, fighters scatter, and camps collapse. Another perspective to this issue is the role of intelligence. The army did not stumble on these vehicles by chance. This interception followed credible human intelligence. That tells us something important. People within communities are talking. People are providing information, and that is a critical shift in this long war. Now, let us examine the legal and procedural side of this development. The drivers have been taken into custody. Investigations are ongoing, and this is where things often become complicated in Nigeria. Were these drivers fully aware of who the end users were? Were they coerced? Were they paid willingly? Were they part of a larger logistics ring? These are questions investigators must answer carefully. Under Nigerian law, providing material support to a terrorist organization is a serious offense. Even indirect support, knowingly or unknowingly, can carry severe consequences if intent and awareness are established. However, Nigeria's counter-terrorism efforts have, in the past, faced criticism over due process, prolonged detention, and lack of transparent prosecution outcomes. So while many Nigerians are applauding this interception, there is also the legal responsibility to ensure investigations are thorough, evidence-based, and not driven by public anger alone. Now let us zoom out and place this incident within the wider national context. Nigeria is tired. Insecurity has stretched families beyond breaking point. From banditry in the northwest, to kidnappings in the north-central, to insurgency in the northeast, ordinary people are living in fear. Farmers abandon fields, traders avoid roads, parents worry every time their children leave home. This interception in Yobe and Borno is not just about 2 vans. It speaks to a wider struggle to cut off the oxygen feeding terror groups. And it also raises uncomfortable questions about how deeply embedded these logistics networks are within civilian life. Because, let us be honest, yams, gari, clothes, charcoal, these are things ordinary Nigerians trade in every day. That is what makes this war so complex. The line between civilian commerce and terror logistics is often thin, blurred, and easily exploited. Please like this video and subscribe if you are following this breakdown so far. There is also a social tension here that cannot be ignored. The Northeast has endured decades of poverty, neglect, and trauma. Young people with limited opportunities become vulnerable to recruitment, either as fighters or as logistics couriers. Sometimes it is ideology, sometimes it is survival, sometimes it is fear, and sometimes it is greed. This does not excuse collaboration with terror groups, but it explains why cutting off logistics must go hand in hand with economic support, rehabilitation, and trust building within communities. Now, let us talk about the emotional and human angle. For families who have lost loved ones to ISWAP attacks, this interception feels like justice inching closer. For displaced persons in camps, it feels like hope that maybe the people who made them flee are finally being cornered. For soldiers on the front lines, it is validation that intelligence-led operations are working. But there is another side. There are families of the suspects who may be shocked, ashamed, or fearful. Communities may worry about collective punishment or stigma. There is tension, suspicion, fear of reprisals. These emotional layers are part of every counterinsurgency operation, whether acknowledged or not. My viewers, if you are following this analysis, please like the video and subscribe. And let me ask you directly, should those who provide logistics to terror groups be treated the same as the fighters themselves? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Now, from the military standpoint, this interception aligns with a broader strategy of degrading terrorist capabilities without always engaging in direct combat. Cutting supply routes is cheaper, safer for troops, and often more effective in the long run. The Nigerian Army has repeatedly stated its commitment to disrupting terrorist logistics networks, and this operation reinforces that message. There is also a political angle. The government needs wins, visible, measurable progress against insecurity. Interceptions like this send signals to the public, to international partners, and to insurgents themselves that intelligence penetration is improving. But there is also pressure. Nigerians want results, not just seizures. They want to see prosecutions. They want to see networks dismantled, not just intercepted. They want assurance that these items were not just seized today, while another convoy slips through tomorrow. Now let us bring in the voices of Nigerians reacting to this development on X, because public sentiment matters. One reaction reads, "The logistics networks that sustain terrorist groups and intelligence are as criminal as the terrorists themselves. Anyone who provides these supports, directly or indirectly, is complicit in the bloodshed of innocent Nigerians and must be treated as an enemy of the state." This reflects a hard-line position, zero tolerance. For many Nigerians who have suffered loss, nuance feels like betrayal. Another reaction says, "I am loving this momentum from our men in the front lines." CG Musa effect? This points to growing confidence in military leadership and renewed belief in operational effectiveness. A third reaction reads, "This was a big delivery for them. Thank you, Nigerian Army. Are some bandits going to be stranded tonight?" This captures both gratitude and grim satisfaction, the idea that denying supplies translates directly into weakened enemies. Then there is a more emotionally charged reaction. "These are citizens, Muslims conveying materials to terrorists that they use in killing fellow Muslims. God punish that useless professor saying retired General Musa should not kill Fulani terrorists because they are his own brothers." This reaction exposes deep frustrations, religious contradictions, and ethnic sensitivities that continue to shape public discourse on insecurity. And finally, another reaction says, when you completely block fuel, food, and drugs, they will all abandon their occupation. This reflects a belief that logistics denial is the ultimate weapon. What is your opinion regarding this story? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Please like this video and subscribe if you believe conversations like this must continue. Now, let us look ahead. What happens next will matter more than what just happened. Will the investigation uncover a larger logistics network? Will there be arrests beyond the drivers? Will financiers be traced? Will there be public prosecutions to deter others? Or will this case quietly fade as many others have? There are also potential international implications. ISWAP operates within a regional terror ecosystem linked to the Sahel. Disrupting logistics in Nigeria affects movements across borders.
That draws the attention of regional partners and international observers. Economically, sustained disruption of terror logistics can reopen trade routes, reduce transport costs, and restore confidence in farming and commerce in affected regions. But failure to follow through can deepen cynicism. So let me ask you again, are logistics collaborators worse than the fighters themselves? Should poverty be considered in prosecution? And is Nigeria finally learning that wars are won not just with bullets, but by choking supply lines? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Please like this video and subscribe. And as always, stay engaged, stay informed, and stay safe.